years I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, da, 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 da.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Warrior Within, a new journey. I'm your host, Jaime Bennett, and I am so beyond excited and honored to have today's guest on this show. But before I speak any further, viewer discretion is advised because we do cover sensitive topics on this show, and sometimes we may curse here and there. So viewer discretion is advised. As always, I have a really special guest on today's show. She is an amazingly talented photographer who's going to be talking about her life and why she is a warrior within. Her name is Tammie Birdwell. And without further ado, may I introduce you to my amazing guest, Tammie Birdwell.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
So you are a photographer. I've seen your work. You're amazingly talented. And
thank you.
I really enjoy seeing your photos. And not only are you a photographer, but you do concert photography, which I just find inspiring and fascinating, especially being a female photographer. It is a little bit harder for us to get in the photography pit and be doing photos for concerts. Would you like to talk a little bit about that and any issues that you may have had involving being a concert photographer?
Absolutely. Oddly enough, I've been doing it for 2 years. And oddly enough, I never really had an issue until I guess it was in March. I was shooting a show, and I won't mention the place because I don't want to. But I was shooting my favorite band, who, by the way, knows me. They're my friends. Their photographer knows me really well. If you're familiar with the show, there's always, not always, but the bigger shows have a photo pit in the front where for the photographers, and you get the first 3 songs, and then you have to. The security guard originally let me in. So it was me. It was the band's photographer, who I know him really well. And then another guy who just had bought a VIP ticket. So he had a VIP badge on himself. When I know what I'm doing. So when I walked in the door, I asked them, hey, where's my photo pass? They're like, we don't do that. So I didn't have a photo pass. I had no way to, other than the camera in my hand, I had to tell the security guy they just didn't have one. And he originally let me in. And the good thing about the band I was shooting is they're a jam band. So the first 3 songs can actually be about 20 minutes, which is really good because this is a sold out show in a tiny theater. So the crowd was packed. And I knew once I was out of that pit, getting close was going to be really hard again. So the first song wasn't even over. And the security guy who had just let me in came over and grabbed me and said, you don't have fucking credentials. And I was like, I tried to say, yes, I do. I do. Just go talk to the door person, go find somebody with a list. I'm on it. I'm always on it. And he kicked me out. He was an asshole. And I lost it. Like it was so unexpected and so out of left field. And because I'm autistic, it also hit all of these like we have a very innate sense of fairness. So when something unfair happens to us and we know that it's not fair, it can be very, very upsetting. And I went upstairs and I had sort of a mini meltdown. And then I found someone with a radio because I know at a show, usually the guy with the radio can talk to people. I explained what was going on to the guy with the radio. Said I'm on the list. I'm fully credentialed. I didn't get all the shots I need. Help me out here. Now, up to this point, I would have thought that perhaps maybe, he didn't kick me out because I'm a female photographer. Perhaps maybe he was just an asshole or, whatever. He just thought he was doing his job, right? Yeah. I gave him that. I gave him that at first, right? But then once approached by the manager of the establishment who said she's fully credentialed, he then lied.
Oh my gosh. That's horrible.
He then lied when he was faced with the fact that I had all my credentials I needed. He lied. He said a member of the band asked her to leave.
That's awful. That had to be.
Again, it infuriated me. It infuriated me. And again, all these autism bells are going off and I'm like, this is just so unfair. This is just so unfair. I belong here. And even, the guy is still up there. The guy, by the way, with the VIP pass, he stayed in the pit for the entire show. He didn't have credentials. He stayed for the entire show. I didn't find the band's manager until about the last 3 songs. And he, at that point, I got up as close as I could. I got the shots I could that night. But I was unable to regulate for the next 5 shows that I did as a result of what that man did to me.
Yeah.
I thought I was okay. I used to go to shows and I'm used to feeling really nervous before a show. I'm used to that. But as soon as I walk in the door, as soon as I open my camera bag, I'm okay. That's, it's my special interest. That's how I see live music. I don't pay attention to what's going on around me. I'm just behind my camera, focusing on the musicians. And I love it. And I forgot where I was.
You're fine.
But for 5 shows, I couldn't regulate. So I actually just recently came off of what was supposed to be a month-long, break. I ended up doing 3 shows. Because a band called me and asked. Usually I do it for different publications and things like that, different websites and blogs and stuff, but this time the band themselves called me, and they're all really young and adorable.
Oh.
And I just couldn't say no.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah, and last band I know is always really fun to shoot because they're a Prince Bowie cover band. So it was a perfect opportunity for me to dip my toe back in to make sure that I was going to be able to regulate at shows, because starting tomorrow I have a 2-day festival I'm shooting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yep. I even sold my first print.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. That's incredible.
I made a post today about finding myself behind my camera on the ground. And honestly, it couldn't be more true. I moved to New York 5.5 years ago with $250 in my pocket and what I could fit in a station wagon.
Yeah.
I'm one of those horror stories you hear about. I shouldn't do air quotes. I'm one of those horror stories you hear about. As soon as my kids were raised, I didn't realize it at the time. I was having autistic burnout, which caused me to have fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
And, so as soon as my kids were raised, a 22-year marriage just came to an end.
Oh, wow.
And we were always pretty tight monetarily. I knew he was supporting my son through college. So I didn't, he paid me like $250 for like 6 months. And that was it. And he bought me the station wagon. That's pretty much what I got for 22 years of marriage. But my kid's he's working on his doctorate in astrophysics. So I can't complain about that at all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, our goal as mothers is for our children to do better than us. But no one prepared me for what it was going to feel like when they were.
Understandable.
Because starting over from scratch at 41 years old with, at the time I didn't even know autism because again, for my first few years up here, I just felt lost. And even though I have a partner now, I felt alone. Yeah. And I was just very confused. And every day I would wake up and just feel this sense of dread, like, oh God, just another day I have to get through, right? I felt like that for years. And then one day I would go out and throw disc golf with my partner. And one day I found these tiny orange mushrooms on the ground. And so I got done with my camera and I took pictures of it because I love tiny things. I took pictures of the tiny mushrooms and I found myself sort of staring at those photos and feeling really good. And so it's kind of double-sided because I became obsessed. I found a special interest and I became obsessed with mushrooms and photography and all of that ended up with me figuring out that I'm a member of the lost generation, which is, women who didn't get diagnosed with autism until, well, for me, it was just a little over a week ago. But wow. Yay.
What an incredible journey. I mean, isn't it amazing, like, how therapeutic our art can be for us?
It's been entirely life-altering for me. It's changed everything. I found myself on the ground with these mushrooms, and then I got really lucky. I'm a concert photographer because I got lucky.
Yeah.
My partner's lived here for a long time and he knows a lot of people. So I got really lucky and I just know the right people because that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, that and getting the good shots. If I sucked, they wouldn't ask me back. You know what I mean?
True.
But yeah, it's quite a dichotomy though, because I'm not really getting paid that often or that much for what I do. I did sell a print on Etsy, which was awesome and exciting. But it's slow. Like the earning money part has definitely been a slow process. My partner and I are currently staying with his dad. So my life's this dichotomy where I'm shooting Tears for Fears this summer.
That is so cool.
I know. But then I'm also living at my partner's house. So, but I'll take it. I've been finding my joy, and I even found a camera I've been looking for today from an old friend of mine. So my positive attitude keeps bringing good things to me, which is which it feels nice. It feels nice after 5.5 years of just feeling afraid all the time, to finally feel like I'm getting some control over things.
Yeah.
That I can't even find words to describe what that feels like. But just to anybody out there who's going through it, just know, like, you can get here. Like, it's possible. You just got to find your spot. You just got to find your thing.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I've got like a bachelor's in recording technologies, and I've been in the media industry for over 20 years, and I'm just now, at the age of 43 getting to this point, like I was so depressed before, but now I'm like actually enjoying doing media. I'm enjoying doing these shows and having great conversations with guests like you.
Exactly.
It's a wonderful feeling. It's like I just enjoy it so much.
I wish I could tell someone how to find their thing, though.
Yeah.
I wish, because mine just happens so organically.
Yeah.
And I just my timing was perfect, because all of a sudden everybody's into mushrooms and everybody's wearing the mushroom pants. And that's what I love taking pictures of when I'm not at concerts.
Yeah.
I'm still taking the mushroom photos, and like, it's been, yeah, but I can't, it just happens so organically.
Yeah.
Just don't, so I guess the advice then would be, don't give up.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't stop trying. Don't be afraid to try that new thing. Don't be afraid to get down on the ground and look at that mushroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I've been, like I said, in the media industry for over 20 years, but, I'm just now getting to my place and getting, comfortable and doing what I'm supposed to be doing in life, I guess, and
Yes.
it is a great feeling. Like, it really is a great feeling. I know that I've had friends who say, "Oh, I might as well just give up." I'm like, don't give up, because that next drawing, that next photo, that next song that you write may get somewhere. Like, you never know.
Exactly. Don't stop. Don't stop. Like, just don't stop. Even if it's baby steps, even if you don't feel better right away, if something makes you feel kind of good, do that thing. I tried to avoid photography forever because I'm broke and it's expensive.
It can be.
Ironically, had I saved all the money I had spent on all the other crafts I tried first. but yeah. But even there, I'm lucking out, because I know a lot of people in the industry. So I found a good deal on a camera today. So I'm even going to be able to upgrade my gear. I'm going to finally not feel like an asshole in the pit, because right now, like, not only am I a female, right? I stand out because I'm surrounded by men, right?
Okay.
And it doesn't bother me at all. They all respect me. I know all of them. I know the dance. I'm good at the dance. I'm good. I don't camp, which is the rule. Like, don't stand in a spot and stay there. But they all have these amazing cameras, right? With like these huge lenses. And here I am with my little baby starter camera. With my little Canon. And I'm very excited to get the new gear, because that's no longer going to be the case. And I'm not going to have to, because right now I'm the only one in the pit who has to, like, switch out my lenses, to get different shots, because everybody else has at least 2 cameras, so
yeah,
I'm excited to upgrade the gear.
I am so happy for you. See, this is why you need to support your fellow artists, because
Yes.
we need to upgrade our equipment. We need to be able to do things, way better. So
Yes. Yes.
definitely support your
Yes.
fellow artists.
Yes. I'm building my Etsy. I'm putting lots of prints up there. Hopefully people want to buy them.
And I will put a link to her Etsy shop in the description, so you all need to go check it out. Buy some prints, because that would help Tammie out with her equipment, and it would help her to be able to continue to do what she loves to do. And that's important.
Yeah. And they're really cool shots.
Yeah.
I love taking pictures of mushrooms and, colorful and weird things.
Yeah.
I moss.
That's what I do with my photography. I have I've taken a lot of photography classes throughout my years in college and the university, and that's what I like to take photos of, is like nature. But you can also catch me, because they won't approve my press pass yet. Hello, Atlanta. Approve my press pass.
Approve her pass. Let her in. Give her a photo pass right now. Yes. That's from New York. That's a direct order.
I would very much appreciate it. But I'm up there front row center with my little phone camera taking images, and I do the best that I can with what I've got. So I'm hoping that somebody from Live Nation, to name names, Live Nation.
Live Nation, yes.
I'm hoping somebody from Live Nation sees some of my images and says, okay, maybe we should give her a press pass.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. The camera I'm getting, just fun fact, the camera I'm getting shot the cover of High Times. A cover of High Times.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I know. I know.
Like,
I so appreciate the history of it too, because it's coming from a really dear friend and mentor of mine.
Oh,
he was my partner in crime when we were legalizing medicinal marijuana in PA.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things I got accomplished down there.
Oh, wow.
And then I moved to New York. This same month, everyone was getting their card.
Oh, wow.
So I have yet to go to a dispensary. Yet. Even though I've helped get bills passed, I've helped get things taken out of bills, I have yet to,
See, y'all, she's not just an incredible photographer. She has done incredible things. Like, you are a true warrior within, that's for sure.
Yeah. I outdebated a sitting member of the House of Representatives.
Oh, wow.
Too quickly. It was too easy. Because he wanted to put a thing in the PTSD bill, and I explained to him why that would be a bad idea. Because he said we should study it more. I said, you can't study it properly if you don't have a full sample size. So it was that fast.
Yeah.
And he took it out of the bill, and I left there feeling it shouldn't have been that easy.
Yeah.
I wish I wanted my elected officials to be smarter than me, but that was a disappointing interaction.
Well,
but we got it passed.
Yes, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I love hearing that so much. Now, you said that you just recently got diagnosed with autism.
Yes.
And your photography is kind of a tool that you use with that.
It is.
Do you want to talk more about, your journey through being diagnosed at an older age with autism?
That was hard. If you are older and you are female and you are feeling like you might be a member of the lost generation, ultimately the reason that this is going to sound nuts because I shoot concerts, but I'm autistic. Yeah. So at concerts, I can only hear the music, right? There's not other things distracting me, especially when I'm right in front of the speakers. Anyway, I'm sorry, I was talking about autism, the diagnosis. Yes. I am getting diagnosed because I can't work. I am getting diagnosed because I can't work. I've tried a whole bunch of different jobs, and even my cannabis trimming job that I did for a month this year, because New York's program is kind of a mess. I wasn't, I didn't do good. And it was the only thing I could do. And I would just come home and lay here all weekend. So all I was doing was trimming. And that's not really living, when all you do is work, even if your work is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I got my diagnosis because I needed it because I applied for disability.
Yeah.
Without the diagnosis, I might not have gotten it again. And I know that I can't work because my sound sensitivities are so severe.
Yeah.
All of the jobs that I've tried to do. And I've even had people make me feel badly about it. Like when I worked in a restaurant and they played this, I can't stand music that screams at me.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I'm like, hey, you choose it, but can you please switch it to something less screamy, just slightly less screamy? That's all I asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, if you can't stand music, how do you even live?
That's awful. That is awful.
Yes. By the way, that is not something you say to an autistic person.
No.
Because we are struggling to be where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we are masking for you. So, yeah. That's not something we say to autistic people.
Yeah. Like my
Lesson number one.
My daughter's on the spectrum, so I totally understand. And what people need to realize is every person who has been diagnosed as being on the spectrum, diagnosed as autistic, they have different sensitivities. They're not all the same.
We are not all the same.
So, where with my daughter used to be sensitive to loud noises, she's gotten better with loud noises since she's gotten older. But she used to be sensitive to textures, to loud noises. She had food sensitivity. So what people need to realize is not every person who's been diagnosed with autism or on the spectrum are the same. They have different sensitivities.
We are not the same. And the one thing I wanted to add is self-diagnosis is valid. I had to self-diagnose for 2 years before I could find my appointment. It took me 2 years to get the appointment. And the only reason I got the appointment was because my therapist lives in my state and knew the guy. So that's the only reason that I found him, because he wasn't coming up on Google searches. He wasn't coming up on my insurance's page. So it's there are trains. Do your research, because there are it's self-diagnosis is valid. There's a bunch of assessments you can take online. When you take the assessments, answer them honestly. Don't answer them how you wish you were. Because I told myself for many years that I was this lovey-dovey, hippie empath, and it's not like I turned into a raging bitch, but I'm not. But I'm not that either. I'm not, I'm not like a free-loving, because if you're racist or homophobic or any of the other things, I will call you on it immediately, and I won't be nice.
Yeah.
So I'm not a hippie, because hippies just kind of ignore that and walk away.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate honesty in your face honesty versus sugarcoating everything. I can't stand that.
Yeah, no, I can't lie. And lots of workplaces say they enjoy that until they hire you, and then they don't so much.
Yeah.
Because but yeah, but do your research. If you feel like you need an assessment, it is worth the work, because it was hard. It was hard. You're gonna have to make phone calls. You're gonna have to answer phone calls, but it was worth every second, because I'm validated, and I feel for the first time in 47 years like I'm finally getting to know myself. And with that, for me, with the assessment, it allowed me to start to get to know myself.
Yeah. And that's extremely important. Very, very
Yes.
important. Like I tell my friends, you know, who are down in the dumps and stuff, you know, like my single friends, I guess you would say, I said, how do you expect anybody else to love you if you can't love yourself first? You need to appreciate yourself, you need to respect yourself, and you need to learn about yourself. You can't expect anybody else to love you unless you.
I've been really lucky. My partner's been really understanding and really, really supportive
Awesome.
of what I'm going through. And yeah, he's been great. He's been really supportive and understanding. We watched some shows together so I could teach him. When I first started to figure it out, the show Atypical on Netflix helped me.
Oh, I like that show. It's a good show.
I watched that show and I said, oh, I am, because the way they depicted the sound sensitivities and the way he was picking them up, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I do. So I watched it with my partner, and I kept pausing it, and it was a delightful way to teach him. And he's been so understanding and supportive since. I've had meltdowns in front of him, and he's great about it.